Tonight on Red Eye.
Coming up on Red Eye, Bruce Valanche on the run from police. See if authorities are able to lock up your favorite square. And which president inspired Barack Obama's 2008 run? President Bill Clinton or Independence Day's President Bill Pullman?
Pullman. Mr. Pullman, without Pullman, I might not be there.
And finally, is the future of transportation in cars that can fly or cars that are pulled by middle-aged men? None of these stories on Red Eye tonight.
I'm Tom Shillue filling in for... Wait a minute! I'm not filling in for that guy. What's that guy's name? I forget his name already, Andy.
Don't know.
Okay, we'll get through it. And now let's welcome our guests. She disproves that old chestnut about guys who make passes. I'm here tonight with National Review reporter Katherine Timpf. She disproves all the medical evidence that claims excessive drinking hampers productivity. It's a very productive Joanne Nosuchinsky. And his good advice to me today disproves the adage, anger and hate hinder good counsel. It's TV's Andy Levy. And if, as they say, first impressions are the most lasting, he never should have been booked on this show. It's first-time guest, comedian, author, and radio personality, Jimmy Failla.
Hey, hey. It's good to be here.
A-Block. The lead. That's the first story.
This just in, Twitter is outraged. Once again, Saturday Night Live, a television show, has social media's panties in a bunch after airing a pre-taped parody of a Toyota commercial. In Toyota's ad, a teary-eyed father drops his daughter off at the airport on her way to join the Army. But in SNL's comedy version, the daughter, played by 50 Shades star South Dakota Johnson, joins up with a different group. Do what you do best, audience. Watch and learn.
You be careful, okay?
Dad, it's just ISIS.
Take care of her.
Death to America.
Literally dozens took to Twitter to demonstrate that brevity is the soul of moral indignation. Some said it was in poor taste. Others said it was tasteless. And some thought, tastes great, less filling. You remember that reference? Andy?
Yes.
Come on. Isn't humor the best way to fight a group like ISIS?
Well, it's not the best way, but it's part of your arsenal, I guess. Yeah. Two things. One, I thought it was a pitch perfect parody. You had no idea what the reveal was going to be. They didn't telegraph it by anything anyone said. There were no visual cues to what the joke was going to be. Everything except the punchline was just set up for the punchline, which I think was just done beautifully. I also think those people who are offended maybe need to stop being offended by comedy. It's just a sad way to go through life, constantly looking for things in comedy to be offended by. Just stop.
I agree.
And they were watching the show, obviously, because these people were tweeting, right as the show happened. So they were there for comedy, and they were highly offended.
They're the Twitter philosophers. That's what they say. They're like, what's an outrage? What can I be outraged about first? Yes. I didn't think it was funny, though. I mean, I think it's great to make fun of ISIS. We should definitely make fun of ISIS. But the punchline, like you said, was what? When ISIS shows up is the punchline?
Yeah.
I don't know if ISIS showing up is ever...
Well, are you familiar with the commercial?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the commercial, sort of, but...
So it ends, instead of going to college, it ends up going to ISIS.
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of funny, right?
I guess. I didn't LOL, but, it was okay. It was fine. I wasn't offended by it.
Well, Jimmy, the point of most comedy is to be in poor taste. Isn't that right? Case in point, your act.
That's a guy like me?
Yeah.
Thanks for that. No, I really felt like this is a classic misappropriation of anger on Twitter. It's like, if we can't hit ISIS, who can we hit?
Exactly.
Do we lay off the lovable, huggable Adolf Hitler? Where do we draw this? It's ISIS. It's our biggest enemy. And I think it's a classic example as a comedian of people who aren't comedians, who know nothing about comedy, trying to set the standard for what we make fun of.
Well, how do you know? Maybe these people were, maybe they were fellow comedians on Twitter.
I read like the handles that were being portrayed. They know nothing. And I don't understand, because comedy's not an easy thing to do, as I prove night in and night out on stage. It's not easy. But I don't understand where they do feel entitled to tell comedians how to do their jobs, because there's not another job, there's not another profession that's getting the career tips from Twitter.
Well, Joanne.
I'll do.
Joanne, you're right in the age group there. I mean, is this going to make you more likely or less likely to join ISIS?
You know what? I think there's one thing they could have done that would make this both funnier and more offensive to please everyone. If Barack Hussein Obama was cast as the father. Right? He loves acting. He loves appearing in videos.
He loves ISIS. Is that what you're trying to say?
And he has a daughter, so they would kind of be typecast there. Of course, you know, everyone says the Twitter outrage. Is it over the top? Of course. Well, the people who tweet this outrage, who are really outraged at comedy when they should be outraged at ISIS, shouldn't they be working to making sure that what they're showing, girls going off, doesn't happen? No, they'll never tweet about that kind of stuff because this is the easy target.
But they really are girls going wild, aren't they? Catherine, I mean, this is actually happening. Right. So even if it isn't funny, isn't it good to draw attention to the fact that young women seem to be flocking on buses to ISIS?
Of course it is. Of course it is. It's very important. It's very important. Comedy is very effective in order to, because it's entertaining and people want to be entertained. They don't necessarily, that's why nobody watches C-SPAN. You know, because there's no reason to watch C-SPAN. I don't know, people who are... Most people don't watch C-SPAN that are not at all, like, totally boring. So I think it's really important. I think that comedy should push the envelope, and we should not be discouraging that. We should be encouraging that. And, you know, ISIS is a little worse than making fun of ISIS, like everyone else.
By the way, I fully believe that in this entire country, 12, maybe 13 people were offended by that sketch.
And all 12
but
of
they
them.
tweet the most.
All 12
They
are on
live in their
Twitter.
mom's basements and they tweet all day long.
But I feel a personal connection to this story because as an ex-cab driver, I know most of the people in ISIS. And I feel like they're a self-effacing bunch when it comes to humor.
Did you guys, was it like the TV show Taxi? Did you hang around in a dispatch center with...
It's exactly what you would picture it to be all this time later. It is like a time warp, like it's never gone forward. You know when you're on the road doing comedy and you're amazed at how the decor in some comedy clubs hasn't evolved? A taxi garage is the same thing. And they do bond over ethnic humor. Like if you were to go into a taxi garage in the city right now, they're definitely telling ISIS jokes and Al-Qaeda jokes because it's the only commonality. When 10 different ethnicities get in the room.
They don't appreciate it.
And they have no background. No, they do all make fun of each other.
Well, not when I tell it from the backseat of my car. You know, there's a taxi center up on my way home when I go in the Bronx, and right next to it, a strip club. I think that's evil.
The Golden Lady.
They have their disposable income, and then they're, you know, how can they help it when you bring in your cab and you got
capitalism?
You're right.
Genius.
You're right, Andy. What can I say? All right, is BB king? A day before his controversial address to Congress, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke to a pro-Israel lobbying group, telling them that he'll be warning Congress of the danger posed by Iran. BB, kind of a pet name I have for him, made it clear that his speech was intended to show disrespect to President Obama and the office that he holds.
My speech is not intended to show any disrespect to President Obama or the esteemed office that he holds. I have great respect for both.
And he said that as far as he's concerned, reports of the demise of U.S.-Israeli relations are spot on, and that the alliance between the two nations has never been weaker.
Reports of the demise of the Israeli-U.S. relations is not only premature, they're just wrong. You're here to tell the world that our alliance is stronger than ever.
Okay, well, maybe he may not have said that exact thing, but Senator John McCain did, telling Fox News this is the worst he's ever seen the relationship between the two countries. And many Democrats are skipping Bibi's speech later today, reflecting the Obama administration's anger with the prime minister's very public disagreements over the way they're handling nuclear negotiations with Iran. Catherine, Netanyahu went out of his way to say he wasn't dissing President Obama, but do you buy that?
This is turned into Mean Girls, basically. It's ridiculous. This is a very serious issue, very serious relationship, regardless of what you think about it. And it's cattiness. Like, I'm going to invite Netanyahu, and I'm not going to tell Obama. Well, Obama found out. Well, whatever. No, we didn't. We're not saying anything about you. It's so ridiculous, and it's an embarrassment. It's a total embarrassment. Why are we so involved when we don't even know how we want to be involved or what we should be doing to be involved? It's just an embarrassment. They're acting like middle school girls.
Well, so do you think Boehner should not have invited him?
No, I don't think he should have. Not without talking about it with Obama. Not if this is how it was going to go, right? Because this is a huge embarrassment. What am I going to invite him over now and say, well, I'm the one you should be talking to about this. I'm the one you should be talking about this. The whole thing is just a giant mess. And the more that we try to get involved with it, and now we're turning against each other. So we have one half of the government that thinks this, and the other half thinks this. This is never going to solve anything. And if anybody thinks it is, come on.
But, Jimmy, isn't that the American way? One half thinking one thing, one half thinking the other. Bibi's not getting satisfaction out of Obama, so he's going to speak to an audience that will listen. What do you think?
That's exactly what it is. As a parent, this is the classic mom said no. So I'm asking Dad.
Exactly.
That is a
Mom said no.
Yes.
So we went to the easy parent, which in this case is Boehner. And I do feel like the president's right to not want to be a part of this, because there is a precedent for not getting involved with a foreign head of state during an election cycle, because they don't want to show a bias towards either party. Because if he doesn't win, you've got the new guy in place. And isn't that pretty much their justification for doing this? And I also feel like at the end of the day, Netanyahu, aren't they capable of handling Iran if push came to shove?
Well,
if it went down right now.
Well, apparently we're kind of getting in their way. We're not allowing them. They've got designs on it. I don't know if you've read all the rumors on the internet. I won't get into those because they're unsubstantiated. Joanne, why can't we all just get along? Somebody famous said that at one point.
I think it was a song or something, a lyric to a song, I don't know. So Netanyahu's basically saying that he doesn't trust Obama to get the job done. And I think a lot of people in Washington agree. That's why you see this sort of separation. But I think it makes our country look weak. Yeah. When you see that these political figures are not agreeing, you have someone come into your country and certain people are welcoming them with open arms and others are not. People threatening to boycott this speech. That just doesn't look good. But all in all, aren't these sorts of talks supposed to stay private? About like nuclear weapons and
they're all over Twitter.
So now it's just, it makes me worry that the whole situation's been compromised and our safety is compromised.
Andy,
as the expert on the panel.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
is that code for Jew?
I wasn't even thinking of that.
All right.
Actually, he used a Jewish term, Netanyahu, to say that America was his Barack or something like that.
Yes, family.
Isn't this just all lip service, saying that the relations are stronger than ever when clearly they aren't?
The relations suck.
So why say it?
Because you gotta say it, whatever. But I agree with Catherine. I don't think Boehner should have done this, but it's done. So this, to me, this was the key quote from Netanyahu's speech today at AIPAC. He said, U.S. leaders worry about the security of their country. Israeli leaders worry about the survival of their country. I don't agree with everything Israel's done. I don't agree with everything Israel's doing. I am not a huge Bibi fan, actually. But he is 100% right when he says that. The problem is we have an administration that doesn't believe that Iran is an existential threat to Israel, despite the fact that the leaders of Iran say over and over again, we want to destroy Israel.
Right.
And this is the same administration that doesn't believe the Islamic State is Islamic.
Yeah.
So they have a pattern of refusing to hear what they don't want to hear. And I do think that Bibi is right in this case to let the world know, hey, you guys can think what you want about Iran. You can talk about negotiating with them to make a deal on nuclear weapons. We can't afford that.
Right. Yeah. Now, Catherine, this may be a big cluster fudge, but isn't the real problem that we are trying to make a deal with Iran? I mean, how is anyone supposed to trust a deal with Iran?
Right, you can't. They said the nuclear program is for solar power and plants and medicine.
For
and we're just
purposes.
Like, okay, totally, yeah. We're all pro solar. We're for the environment.
Change, it's for it'll help climate change.
We're for the environment.
We're
for the environment. Again, another example of us looking like idiots. So we try to get involved, and we look like catty little girls, and then we also believe everything that Iran says. We think that we can actually negotiate with them. We look ridiculous.
I don't look like a catty little girl, but sometimes I feel like one.
But the thing is,
that's cute.
I understand Iran saying they need nuclear energy because it's not like there's not a lot of oil in that region. So I can see why they might be a little nervous.
Well, no, it's underground, Danny. It's underground.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get to.
Right.
This just in, the U.S. ambassador to Israel not attending the speech. I've never said that on Red Eye. Isn't that amazing? I'm getting breaking news.
You got this just in?
Yeah, why do you think I wear an earpiece? Okay. Air marshals, More like of fare marshals. An internal investigation is looking into whether air marshals were pulled from flights so they could hook up, get better routes, or fly to better destinations. More than 60 federal employees are under scrutiny for allegedly leaving high-risk flights without protection. High-risk flights? What are those? And why? I don't want to ever be on one. Do they tell us when it's high risk? At the center of the scandal, as always, is sex. Specifically, former flight coordinator Michelle D'Antonio, who's described as, quote, a badge bunny, a woman who likes to date anybody with a badge. Oh, I know how she feels. She allegedly acted as a travel agent for several marshals, rearranging flights to ensure they could get off before they take off and get down upon touchdown. Evidence of a 4-year affair revealed she texted her undercover lover torrid things like, Roy, do you know what day it is? To which he responded, hump day. Oh, I apologize to our more sensitive viewers for the risque nature of those texts. Andy, how are we going to fix this problem? It's rampant, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear. The problem here is that women are allowed to work for the Air Marshal Service. I think we're all...
Yeah, I've been petitioning
No, that is
They're weak, Andy.
That is the easiest takeaway from you. You get rid of that, you get rid of the problem. But this is just... I love this. What began as an internal investigation into allegations of harassment and threats stemming from a spat between ex-lovers has expanded into a criminal inquiry. This is why, first of all, don't cheat on your spouse. Second of all, definitely don't cheat on your spouse with someone at work. Because every time one of these criminal inquiries ends up happening, it starts with a scorned lover. This happens, this happens every time. Just don't do it.
Wow. How can they resist, Andy?
Look, this is what, you know what I do? This is my Fox News badge.
Yes.
I keep it in my pocket. Keep those badge bunnies away.
Oh, exactly, Andy. I know, you're more attractive when it's out.
I do the same thing with my taxi license at all times.
Joanne, would you ever abuse your power in this way that this woman, Miss D'Antonio, did?
I don't think she thinks she's abusing her power. Listen, if you have a job that is secretive like this, secrets become a way of your life.
Yes.
You start to do all of these things, and it seems completely justified because this is your reality. And I think that they need these little trysts because this is a very stressful job.
Of course.
It's long hours, long flights, and it can get kind of lonely. So I think this is actually good for their own well-being and for the well-being of their career.
Yeah, but what about
now
these guys?
She's destroyed her brand also.
I mean, but do you need these trysts to be managed by someone? I mean, these guys, I'm assuming these air marshals are good-looking guys. I mean, I saw the Liam Neeson movie. Yeah. You know, there's probably a lot of single women on the planes. Can't the air marshals pick up their own chicks, Catherine?
I love the retired air marshal commenting on this scandal, saying, I couldn't believe this would occur at a government agency, right? Because there's never a sex scandal in a government agency. These are the most moral people, and they have all this power over us, but it's not like they would ever use it for their own benefit, right? You never see this happening. This woman looks so pathetic now. That's the funniest part about it, right? Like, aren't you that woman who put a bunch of people at risk of a terror threat so you could meet up with the boy you thought was cute? It's not like... Not a really good look for you, lady.
Jimmy, should these people all be punished? No, let me go further. Should they be tortured?
I was going to say they want to be punished, but yeah, no, I am pro horny air marshal.
You are?
I feel like, yes, and I feel like I can make a real case for this because I feel like as a guy, and probably a girl too, when you're out on the prowl, you're never more alert than when you're on the prowl. Like, are your senses ever sharper?
Oh, I know what you mean.
When you're in the hunt. But maybe. I mean, I just feel like you're always more alive. Like, I'm a married guy. Now I'm dead on the inside. There's nothing left of me. But I'm just saying, as like a single guy in my 20s, like, you would really feel alive if you were out there hunting. And I actually encourage this sort of thing.
Now that you're married, do you think your senses are dulled?
I think I see buying signs when they occur, but I just think my reflexes aren't there.
Yeah.
Jimmy, can I just point out, though, that you're actually arguing for the opposite, because what this woman did was, by sleeping with these air marshals, she took away that edge from them.
That's right.
Because you're saying they got the payoff.
They said, my coach used to say it, my track coach, Women Weekend, he always said it. Coming up, I show you what I found when I rifled through Greg's desk this afternoon. I don't know what it is, but it has straps. But first, what's better than a Walmart-themed moment with Tom? An entire block of it. Well, another day, another story about the evils of corporate behemoth Walmart. That's the subject of tonight's In an act of unparalleled aggression, retailing giant Walmart has once again tried to undermine the fabric of our society by refusing to pay the federal minimum wage of $7 an hour. With ruthless cunning, they've decided to raise it to $9 and then $10 an hour. It's outrageous. And it's another blow to America's mom and pop businesses, which are already struggling to resist the might of this Goliath of retail. What's going to happen to mom and pop now? They'll likely have to raise their wages to compete with this Death Star of shopping, this abominable store man. Don't think for a minute that this act has sprung from the goodness of their heart, for they have no heart from which the goodness of an act could spring. No, this is Ruthless Business 101 out of the no-holds-barred playbook called capitalism. Walmart believes with some precedent that this will improve their bottom line. And it won't stop there. The disposable income in those employees' pockets will soon be used on goods and services of all sorts, improving not only Walmart's bottom line, but likely the rest of the economy, maybe even the mom and pop stores themselves. But that will be cold comfort for mom and pop who, as you know, only like warm comfort. And for what? Stuff? What good has come of all this stuff anyway? It's like we're on an endless conveyor belt of production, consumption, innovation, and more production. And what has it gotten us? Besides longer lifespans, comfort, shelter, access to credit, and leisure time with our family. Besides those things, what else? Remember when mom and pop didn't need to open a store at all? They would just stand out in front of their house holding a pitchfork and looking forlorn. That's what mom and pop are supposed to be doing. That's the America we all miss. Andy, why the greed? Why can't Walmart stop hurting? Why can't they stop hurting people with affordable merchandise?
Look, I'm not anti-Walmart. In fact, I'm anti-Walmart.
Oh,
I don't
interesting.
like the anti-Walmart people. I still think the company in general treats its employees like garbage, and I think they should do better. I don't think we should stand up and shout huzzah because a company that makes $16 billion in profits raised its wage to $10 an hour for its employees. But good for them for doing it. In this case, what they've really done is they've almost, in effect, raised the minimum wage for the country. Because all the other giant retailers are probably going to follow suit.
Exactly. That's why I keep reading stories day after day. They say the Walmart effect. It's affecting all these other stores. That Target's going to raise their.
TJ Maxx has already done it.
Exactly.
My favorite store.
Did you get the max for the minimum?
Yeah.
Katherine, Walmart made their fortune going into areas where nobody else was willing to go. That's how they did it. That was their design. How do we stop them from preying on average Americans this way?
Well, we won't. But I think that nobody's more upset about this than Obama, probably. Because now all of these stores are raising the minimum wage on their own. And he'd be under the impression that you need a government, you need the law to make them raise the wage. I think this is a great...
Do you think that bothers Obama?
I think it does, because I think that this proves that shaming works. A lot of people shamed Walmart, and they had to basically raise their wage because they were seen as like the biggest evil in the entire world. And yeah, they didn't do it to be nice. They did it because they had to do it because of shaming.
Because they're ruthless.
Shaming is a good private solution to solving problems. We can continue to shame them and say, see, they're going to ruin mom and pop, and shame, 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 shame. Shame's very effective, but at least they're not a law forcing the mom and pop businesses to have to raise their wages.
No, but they're going to have to.
They're going to have to.
What can they do when Walmart is there?
Of the thing. Oh yeah, Walmart.
They're in their shadow, right, Jimmy? I mean, do you think it was shame that led them to raise their wages, or do you think it's a part of an evil business plan, like I think?
Well, I do think their hand was forced a little bit because other retailers have raised their wage, like that's gone on at other places. So I think this is emblematic of, like a rising tide lifts all boats, even if it's a booze cruise like Walmart. Like, I like Walmart. I'm pro Walmart. That's usually where I go to do my people watching on the road.
But you're saying other people raised and now Walmart follows. Walmart, as far as the big stores go, they're out in the front.
Yeah, they're the biggest employer, and Target's behind them. I saw that Home Depot is behind them. But didn't other competitors also give a raise?
There was like the Gap and some other places.
But didn't Costco give like a minimal raise? I mean, no. At the end of the day, I think everybody bashes Walmart, which is an easy thing to do because they're on top. But I think the fact that they are successful is why they're getting the scrutiny that should otherwise be reserved for a guy.
Are you suggesting my bashing of Walmart was somehow unwarranted?
You owe the Waltons an apology.
Yeah, that's really,
I have them on the phone right now.
The Waltons, yes. Their Waltons Mountain is a pile of cash. Joanne, you don't shop at Walmart, but that's only because their policy is to card anyone who looks under 40. Yeah. I got an alcohol reference in the Walmart story. How good is that, Joanne?
That was good. Your monologue was way too meta for me. I don't know if I'm supposed to like Walmart or
yes, that's what just happened to me.
But I will say no to Walmart, yes to Costco, because I like being affiliated with a members-only club.
Oh, yeah, you like
And
that? They
there's
got.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. There are snacks.
You get a badge, you know.
I also like the large open space, and I like to buy things in bulk because I feel like I'll never run out. When I get low on something, I get a lot of anxiety.
Andy, Costco's Democrat, Walmart Republican. Why?
Is that true?
I mean, yeah, Costco, the Democrats.
Make that up?
He went with it.
That's in my mind. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. I'm supposed to address
in your
things that are in your mind now? That's how the show works now?
I think I'm right. I think Democrat America likes Costco. I'm always hearing it. It's always all over the internets and everything.
You might be right, because as a libertarian, I kind of like both of them equally. So,
Yeah.
I'm more of a Target girl myself. Hey.
Also, Walmart is doing this because unemployment is going down, so they need something to
Incentive.
Yes. Yeah, I know. My dad and I used to have an
which
ice
is
cream
great.
store. He always used to say, what I need is a good recession.
Yeah, the whole thing's a market at work.
Okay, coming up, a bar bans selfies. Good, as long as selfies is not a racial slur I'm unaware of. They're always changing them. But first, a word from our sponsor.
It's the Tom Shillue Barbershop Starter Kit. Tom sings all the bass lines to all your favorite songs on 1,400 cassettes. Like this one. This one's a gem. And who could forget this timeless classic? Order yours today.
A Chicago bar is banning selfies. Harry's Velvet Room in Lincoln Park wants patrons to enjoy their tasty French cocktails in the elegant space without their phones. Owner Dion Antic explains.
Silence your cell phone. You know, if you want to be on your cell phone, leave the building. This is about enjoying the other people that are at your table and their company, not what's going on Facebook or Twitter.
Yeah, but what if my selfie lighting is perfect?
Selfies can wait. You know, you don't need to be posting a selfie every 10 minutes while you're supposed to be out enjoying dinner or drinks.
Okay, Johnny V-neck. The adult lounge has other house rules which forbid yelling, noisy cell phones, and hitting on uninterested women. Jimmy, come on. I mean, if you can't hit on uninterested women, how are the women who have set their standards low, how are they supposed to find a guy like you or I?
Yeah, like, what are they supposed to do? Is it like, you know when you're in a restaurant and there's a magician walking around and you're supposed to put the ears up on the rabbit if you want the magician to come over?
No, I don't know what this is.
What are you talking about? This is strange.
You guys just gang up on me? You really don't know that? What I'm trying to say is,
you know, when you're in a
Where do
restaurant.
you eat?
Hey, I like the funny thing is he's got the guy with the leather jacket. Hey, you know when you're hanging around, you got to put the rabbit ears up if you want a magician to come in.
You know when you're buying a gun out of a trunk?
Cab driver jokes.
No, but I know I really mean it. There are like Italian restaurants where if you go with a kid on a Sunday, they have a magician roaming around, and you have to tell him you're magician friendly. And you put up, like, we have a kid. If you put up the ear.
I think they know
how would you know?
magician
I
friendly.
think you had a dream.
No, what I mean is, like, how would you know which women you could and couldn't approach unless there was some type of indicator?
You can't approach the pretty
Oh, no. There's body
Hey,
language.
thanks for
No,
that.
there's body language that says if someone's interested or not. It's just usually after 5 drinks, the man isn't very receptive to that.
I went on to it.
Which I understand. I'm okay with that.
I like it.
Catherine, can you spend a night on the town without consulting your phone?
Absolutely not. I can't do anything without my phone. And I also enjoy the cheesy pickup lines, not in a sexual way, but in a so I can make fun of them, sometimes on social media immediately way. So I had one time, the best one I ever had is a guy came up to me in a bar in DC and said, "You're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in a month." And I still am talking about it. It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
And you've been dating for how long?
I immediately put it on Twitter. I had to pull out my phone after something like that, right? Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. People are taking selfies in the hospital. Okay, so if you're in the hospital, it doesn't stop you from taking a selfie clearly very important. Maybe the selfie can't wait in the bar.
Well, do you know, if you're out there on your phone, you might be doing something important. You might be writing an article for National Review.
I might
People
be
think
writing
you're
an
doing
article for
selfies.
National Review at the bar.
Andy, what about all the women who hit on uninterested men? What of those women?
What about hitting on uninteresting women? Can you still do
Exactly.
that?
Oh, I used to do that all the time.
Yeah, but this reminds me, you know, you go to those restaurants, and if you're interested in stabbing a hobo, you have to put up the little sign.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
That's what this reminds me
Yes,
of.
me too.
Completely, yeah.
You're talking about La Parma.
Well, no, exactly, yeah. I like this.
Great
I like
chicken pot.
I like the idea of a cell phone ban in this place because it gives people a choice. You can go to the bar that has the cell phone ban, or you can go somewhere else that allows cell phones. This is how smoking in bars should have been handled.
But it wasn't, Andy.
I know, but it's how it should have been. Let each individual bar and restaurant decide for themselves. And again, like with Walmart, let the market decide. If people want to go to bars with smoking, those bars will stay in business. If they don't, they'll go out of business. If people want to go to bars where cell phones are not allowed, then this guy, Mr. Dion Antic,
He sounds like
a very trustworthy name as far as I'm concerned, then he will be successful.
He does sound like one of those jokey names that you give to a local airport, you know, to fool them. But why is it that people have so much trouble with the market? Even the libertarians. We had Governor Gary Johnson on here, and he was for, forcing people to post their calorie counts on there.
But we changed his mind on that.
Oh, we did? Red Eye changed the mind of the governor?
Yes.
My. Yes. Joanne, is this bar basically banning millennials?
This is an attack on millennials. You aren't necessarily allowed to ban a group of people. I think that's discrimination. So they're banning behavior that is relative to my people.
And you need it.
And
you need to update, right?
My people need to see where I am. If there's no picture, it didn't happen. By the way, I would like to say Dion Antic, I do not like him because I saw a picture of him online, which we couldn't get the rights to, so we can't show it. But it's him at a restaurant talking on the phone.
No!
So he's a hypocrite.
You caught Dion Antic breaking his own rule?
Yes.
He's not breaching his own rule unless he was doing it in his restaurant. Then he's breaking the rule. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Even Dion Antic sometimes is going to want to go to a bar or a restaurant that allows him to talk to Dion Antic. I don't think that makes Dion Antic a hypocrite.
Antics are really.
I do not think Dion Antic is a hypocrite. Next story. Your dog's got the memory of a fish. A new study from a scientific journal reveals that most animals have an awful short-term memory, the average memory lasting just 27 seconds. Turns out animals only store information that can help them survive and tend to forget specific events. A dog's memory lasts about 2 minutes, so your pup probably doesn't remember that great hike or you leaving for work, unless, of course, it's this dog. Oh, look at that. A serviceman coming home and the dog remembered it. In fact, Jimmy, we see these kind of videos all the time. The service man or woman comes home from overseas and the dog goes crazy. So what is the, I don't believe this dumb science.
This is a bogus study because I have a dog. I have a golden retriever. I'm a normal dog owner.
They're not too bright either, right? They're very loving, but they're not too bright. Am I right?
No, they're not the sharpest.
Okay.
But if I pull out a dog treat and stick it in my pocket and don't give it to him, he does know I have it 5 minutes later. Yeah, no, I know, but I'm just saying, if I left the room, if I took a dog treat and left the room, and I also believe, like,
but can't they? Their sense of smell is ridiculous.
You don't know enough about dog smell.
We're just shooting you down. I'm sorry.
No, you want to know what it is? Because I don't want to believe that their memories are this bad, because it means he's not really as excited to see me.
He doesn't love you.
That's what I mean. Because you know when you get that big hello, that just means that he forgot you come home at 5 o'clock or whatever time it is every day. I don't want to believe that.
Okay, I want you to, next time I want you to run that experiment with a slide rule, all right? Put the slide rule in your pocket, see if he, wants to do math.
Bailey loves me, you guys. He loves me.
Catherine, does this explain why dogs don't listen? They just don't remember.
No, I think this study is because it was done by scientists. Scientists don't have social skills. We all know that, including apparently animals. Hey, I was at home all weekend with my family dog, Axel Timpf. We had a great time. I'm sure he remembers all of it. I'm sure he's thinking about it right now. I'm trying to convince my dad to throw him a 70th birthday party. Yeah. Axel's big 70th birthday bash.
Does he have all his legs?
He has all of his legs.
I just want Axel's a great name for one of those dogs with
all
only
of his
2 legs.
He's actually a poodle. He's a poodle. Okay. So yeah, it was very special, and I know he remembers. And we shared very special moments that had nothing to do with smell. So I'm positive that it's not true.
Joanne, Should these findings change the way that owners deal with their pets?
Yeah, you shouldn't throw them birthday party. They're not, no, but they're not going to remember.
Birthday party's for me.
It is, exactly. That's the thing. Do they, of course, enjoy it at the moment? I think so. But like a 1-year-old, they're not going to be able to tell their kid pups about it. I don't know. I've never had a pet, so I feel bad I can't really contribute to this study. But I will say, I think this is speciesist.
Yeah.
Because who are we to say that we know?
I don't remember
exactly
species
what they're thinking.
Yes.
We're humans splaining
Andy,
a dog's mind.
Maybe these animals are actually so smart that they are purposefully failing the memory test to fool the scientists, and they're smarter than us.
I can see cats doing that just to screw with the people giving the test. Yeah, I definitely see that. Here, there's two things here. First of all, I want to know how old these animals were, because I'm 48. I can't remember specific events. I can pretty much remember the things I need to survive, but I can't remember specific events. I also think maybe dogs or whatever don't remember that you petted them 2 minutes ago. But they obviously remember overall if you're a good owner and not a garbage person who treats them like crap. So either way, don't be a garbage person to your pet. And beyond that, this study, who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't even matter what they remember. We don't know what's going on in their heads. All right, coming up, How to Be a Man with our expert, Katherine Timpf. Back in a moment, but first, here's what's coming up tomorrow on Kennedy. I'm a man and I can prove it. Just email me. But some guys are not so sure of themselves these days. In a column in Sunday's Guardian titled How to Be a Man in 2015, Max Olesker comments that the current state of manhood, he claims that the rule book has been torn up. Declaring himself a feminist, he says that he is in solidarity with many women in the media who have been collectively henpecking us all in print with a recent spate of male pejoratives like mansplaining. Joanne, that's the act of explaining something condescendingly to a woman. Or manspreading, a man who engages in spreading. But Mr. Olesker seems to think we deserve it, saying conversations about male behavior feel necessary because, on the whole, men feel lost. Well, Katherine Timpf may agree, writing a national review online from a bar somewhere that she claims things like man-slamming are only the beginning. Katherine, what are some of the other offenses that my gender is guilty of?
There's almost too many to even be. Broplimenting is when you compliment a woman without asking for her consent first, which is, of course, assault.
Oh, the old broplimenting. I'm guilty of that all the time.
Sleep manpnea, which is when men snore, because even when they're unconscious, they can't go without oppressing us with their existence. But when a woman snores, it's because she's been man-interrupted all day, and that's the only way she can get out what she's really thinking. Man-traduction, when a man introduces you, instead of letting you introduce yourself, it's because he wants to control your identity.
Oh, of course.
Man-packing is when a man brings a large backpack on the subway.
Oh,
when
I have a different kind of man-packing. Jimmy.
See, that was...
What are you talking about? I don't know where your mind's going on there, but I do a lot of hiking. Jimmy, you're not allowed to ride the subway, but that has nothing to do with manspreading. Are you guilty of any of these offenses Katherine has mentioned?
No, are these real?
They're real. See, that was another problem right there. You're denying the very, very serious
No, but
issues.
is that like a problem? When you talk about like picking your battles in this world, people are getting like beheaded and stuff. There are women getting killed for reading.
There's also women having to deal with being complimented when that makes them uncomfortable. You have no idea what kind of broken mouth chewing, okay, when a man feels the need to chew with his mouth open
I never do that.
And assert his dominance.
That's ungentlemanly. Andy, is this why you live like a Trappist monk with cable?
No, this is not why.
That's another reason.
I just prefer it. Here's a simple rule for how to be a man. Don't be a D-bag. That's pretty much it. Go to the spa, don't go to the spa. Shave your chest, don't shave your chest. Go to the gym, don't go to the gym, whatever. Just don't be a D-bag. Mansplaining is simultaneously a dumb word, a word that actually did convey an important point for a brief period of time, and a term that at this point has been abused so badly it's now worthless. So just don't be a D-bag.
Wow.
I think it's easy.
Andy has simple rules. Joanne, why did the list of requirements for men, why does it go on and on? We can't satisfy them. Men only have 2 requirements, and they're very simple. All women have them. Go ahead.
Okay, sure. You know, I think regardless of what kind of man you are, if you do some of these things or don't, there will be a woman for you. If you're looking for someone, there will be someone for you. If you're looking for a job, there will be a job that is fit for you. So what I think the problem is when we put these terms on a man and he has to mold himself and define himself because isn't that what's really awful?
Well, if women are not offended, it's just because they don't know that they should be offended yet. And it's my goal.
Of course.
It's my goal to make everyone as offended as possible because that's how you make the world a better place.
We're getting there, Katherine. Coming up, head transplants. Sounds like a terrible band. Hey, did you catch my appearance on Broad City on Comedy Central? My episode repeats Wednesday night, the early show. Okay. Coming up tomorrow in the next Red Eye, return appearances from Gavin McInnes, Kennedy, and the great TV writer Rob Long.
E-Blog. Last story. That's the last story.
An Italian neurosurgeon is claiming that within the next 2 years, we could see the first human head transplant. Dr. Sergio Canavero, or as he pronounces it, Frankenstein, is researching the new surgery that would reattach a human head to a donor body. The dangerous procedure involves cooling the patient, that's nice, severing the spinal cords, ooh, that's not so nice, and then splicing them together. Seriously, what could possibly go wrong? Once the spinal cord is fused with the donor body, the patient would remain in a coma for about 3 weeks. It's kind of a long vacation. And then the new hybrid person would be alive. The estimated cost of the surgery, $13 million a head. Wow. Andy, like I said moments ago, what could go wrong?
First of all, can we call it a body transplant? Because that's what it is.
Wait a minute.
Like, your brain is getting a new body. Yeah. It's not your body getting a new brain. So it's a body transplant.
But the head weighs less.
No, you can't.
So it's easier to move.
You can't say it's a head transplant. You're not getting a new head.
This doctor obviously was very focused on the body.
Well, this doctor, I don't know if we can put that picture back up. This doctor, I am an insomniac. I am up late at night. This doctor looks like the guy on all the infomercials trying to sell stuff that doesn't work.
That's great. I love the trellis. Yeah, see, when you're a doctor, find something to lean on. That really helps your headshot.
When this thing actually happens for real, it's going to be with the cranial screw top method pioneered by the great Dr. Michael Huffer, and not from this guy.
Okay, wow. Katherine, would you consider this surgery?
I mean, maybe if I needed a new head. I don't know. I've never been in that position. I'm
not getting a new head. You're getting a new body.
I'm not trying to head splain and know what it would be like if I didn't have a. You know what?
What if you did want a new head? Then you would keep your body. Then it would be a head transplant.
Well, the main point here is this doctor. This doctor is insane. And wherever he's being employed, he should be no longer employed because there's not going to be people getting their heads hacked off or their bodies hacked off in a couple of years.
Sounds crazy, but so did the wheel. And electricity and almond milk, and now we are all very happy to have those things. I love it. I absolutely love it. I would love to have the body of a man.
She loves it. Jimmy, are you comfortable with this idea?
No. First of all, it's never getting approved. Second of all, it would go cosmetic in like 3 weeks. People would just be doing
No, they clarified. They said the goal
out.
would be to extend the lives of people whose bodies were too diseased.
This creepy guy who's trying to design a human centipede. Did you see that guy's headshot? That guy's disturbing.
And it takes 3 weeks, they said, to heal. So I don't know. That would put it out for a lot of people as far as elective surgery goes.
My wisdom teeth was like 2 weeks.
A 3-week coma sounds delightful.
That's what I'm telling you.
Maybe just slop it off Andy and sew it back on.
Just,
you can have
give me the
3 weeks.
coma.
Very special thanks to Katherine Timpf, TV's Andy Levy, Joanne Nosuchinsky, and Jimmy Failla. That does it for me. I'm Tom Shillue, and I'll see you next time.